Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you at the webinar of Lietuvos Energijos Gamyba. My name is Valentas Neviera, and I thank you for joining us at the webinar to hear a little bit more about the performance and results of Lietuvos Energijos Gamyba in the first half year of 2017. Today we are hosted by Eglė Čiužaitė, the Chairwoman of the Board and the CEO of the company. Before we proceed with the presentation, I will shortly introduce you with the agenda. Firstly, Ms. Čiužaitė will comment LEG financial results of 6 months of 2017 and inform about current events in the company. Right after the presentation, we will open the floor for questions. I invite you to use the question box on the right side of the screen to send in questions. All questions will be addressed after the presentation. So, Ms. Čiužaitė, I invite you to start the presentation.
Good afternoon, dear investors. Thank you for joining us in the webinar of Lietuvos Energijos Gamyba, or abbreviated as LEG. And it is my pleasure today to discuss with you the current trends and results for the first half of 2017 of LEG. And in addition, I'll highlight a few things to look for in the second half of 2017, a summary of our company's 4-year performance and our strategic focus areas. Let me start with a brief reminder of our key activities. LEG is the Lithuanian energy generation company, which also provides system services necessary for the security of energy system. We operate 3 power plants, a thermal power plant in Elektrėnai, Kruonis pumped storage power plant, and Kaunas hydro power plant. And in Elektrėnai complex, we provide the following services. We produce regulated electricity. We provide strategic reserve, tertiary reserve, and heat generation. And in both hydro power plants, we generate commercial electricity. And in both power plants, we also provide system services for the transmission system operator. Let me also briefly highlight a couple of investor-related figures. Our market capitalization as of the end of June 2017 was 398 million euro. Our largest shareholder is Lietuvos Energija, which owns 96.75% of shares, while we also have approximately 5,900 smaller investors, which we really appreciate. Moving to the next topic, I would like to highlight a few key events that happened in the second quarter of 2017. In May, we received good news for the wind park development project in Kruonis, as the environmental impact assessment study was approved. In the end of May, we repaid 60 million of our financial liabilities. Also, as of the end of May, we started reporting our key financial indicators monthly to the investors in order to be even more transparent and open. Going further, in June, a new board member of LEG was elected. It is Nerijus Razburskis, who has extensive expertise in the energy field and power plant development projects. In addition, in June, we finalized our feasibility study related to the extension of Kruonis pumped storage power plant, with the key message that the construction of Unit 5 would be an optimal solution to solve the reliability and security demand problem in the Baltic energy system, especially after the Baltic electricity network is synchronized with the continental Europe network. And last but not least, we received a positive response from the Competition Council stating that LEG complied with the competition rules when we participated in the tertiary electricity auction, tertiary electricity reserve auction for 2017. Now let's move to the next slide. I'd like to highlight a few things about electricity market and commodity market trends. Looking at the trading balance in Lithuania, in the first half of 2017, we were very dependent on the imports. Imports comprised 77% of the total electricity balance, increasing by 2 percentage points year over year. While the most significant increase in the local production in the first half of 2017 was related to the wind generation in Lithuania. Wind generation grew by 70% year over year. Looking at the average wholesale prices in Lithuanian price zone, the average price decreased by almost 5% year over year and amounted to €34.5 per megawatt hour for the first half of 2017. Looking at the gas prices, average semi-annual gas price was down by almost 15% year over year. However, this trend will probably not continue as the gas discount for the gas consumers already finished in June. And concerning the CO2 emission allowances prices, actually they keep on staying at the very low levels in the market. Now, I'd like to tell you how leg performance was dependent on the market trends. Actually, the market effect on our operations was rather predictable and consistent. The total semi-annual amount of generated electricity of leg power plants decreased by 14%. That is from about 640 gigawatt hours in the first half of 2016 to 550 gigawatt hours in the first half of 2017. And the key reason for this decrease is related to the generation in Elektrėnai complex due to the lower average market price and therefore fewer opportunities for competitive generation in Elektrėnai. Actually, our combined cycle unit, which is the most efficient and modern unit in Elektrėnai complex to produce electricity, was started 10 times in the first half of 2017 as compared to 30 times in the first half of 2016. Kruonis hydro pump storage power plant also generated 16% less electricity this year as compared to the first half of 2016 due to the more stable performance of the power interconnectors. While we're happy to see the opposite trend for Kaunas hydro power plant, due to the early flood this spring and rains at the beginning of the summer, its semi-annually generated amount grew by 19% as compared year over year, which also had a positive effect on our EBITDA. Now let's look at the breakdown of our revenue and our expenses. First, the revenue chart. Total revenue for 6 months of 2017 was 29% lower year over year. And there are two key reasons for that. The first one is lower generation amount, that is lower electricity sales revenue. And the second reason was the one-off revenue stream in 2016, which was related to the sale of trade business at the beginning of 2016, with a recorded result approximately 20 million euro. Looking solely at the sales revenue, the decrease is smaller by 8% year over year from 69 to 63 million euro. And commercial sales, that is electricity sales revenue, comprised the largest share of sales revenue, which was lower by 25% from 34 to almost 26 million euro. And the regulated semi-annual sales developed as follows. First, the reserves revenue, which is the second largest revenue category in our revenue chart, was lower from 23 to 20 million euro. The subsidized strategic reserve revenue increased from 9 to 15 million euro year over year. And this is actually related to a one-off reduction in the first half of 2016 of 11 million euro due to the commercial activities regulation, which was later in 2016 proven as a wrong practice by court. The heat sales stayed actually at a very similar level, though the heat sales do not comprise a very significant share of our revenue. And there was a one-off sale transaction in the first quarter of 2016 of 20 million, which I already mentioned. Concerning the expenses, we were able to control variable costs effectively in line with the lower generation amounts, and therefore total costs were down by 19% to 53 million euro. If we analyze the cost breakdown, the largest share was material purchases, and they were down by 37%, amounting to 17 million euro, which is the reduction of these costs is in line with a lower generation in Elektrėnai and with lower internal operational costs. Electricity purchases were 15% lower, amounting to 11 million euro in the first half of 2017, which is in line with lower Kruonis power plant generation. The third largest category, depreciation, remained at a similar level, while other cost categories such as salaries, maintenance costs, and similar were optimized. Going further, these cost optimization efforts positively influenced our EBITDA margins. Looking at the comparable figures, where the one-off regulator's decision effect of 11 million euro is added back to 2016 result, the EBITDA margin improved, while the absolute EBITDA amount would have been only a little bit lower, despite a significant increase in sales revenue. The comparable net profit levels, where we eliminate two factors. First, the one-off effect related to regulator's decision and one-off sale of trading activities, and second, the emission allowances price effects. If we eliminate those factors, the net profit would show an increase, and also the margins would have increased accordingly. So these were all the slides and all the information I wanted to share which related to the first half of 2017. And now let me move further on discussing the short-term future most relevant topics. So first topic is our generation. We see a positive outlook for our hydro power plants for the second half of 2017. While in Elektrėnai we see the fall as a busy season. In September we will perform obligatory tests of all units, and we will also make an investment into our combined cycle unit control system. We will upgrade the control system, and we also hope in September to have more operations in Elektrėnai complex due to comparatively higher market prices of electricity. In addition, we plan to perform the inspection and planned maintenance of combined cycled unit in the fourth quarter of 2017, which will make the combined cycled unit unavailable for operation for approximately 34 calendar days. Regarding the 2018 reserves, unfortunately, we still do not have any specific information, neither from the transmission system operator, neither from the Ministry of Energy regarding the reserve allocation rules and conditions for 2018. But we definitely expect that to be provided and be available for us in the second half of 2017, and we will act according to the rules that will be set. Concerning the projects and research activities that we are involved in currently, we are finalizing the technical evaluation of the third thermal power plant of Vilnius, which will be provided for Lietuvos Energijos for further discussion in this power plant's acquisition process. We are looking forward to receiving the guidelines of the support schemes on the national renewable energy sources projects in order to finalize our decisions regarding the wind park development project. As well, we are currently waiting for the decisions of the chosen synchronization model for the Baltic states in order to prepare for Unit 5 in Kruonis pumped storage power plant development. In addition, as this project is favorably supported by the EU as a potential project of common interest, we plan on applying for EU funds to make some additional research and technical analysis on current Kruonis infrastructure in order to be even more prepared and better prepared for the Unit 5 implementation. And the last area of interest is related to corporate matters. In August, we just had 2 members of our supervisory board appointed, while there'll be an election process of the 3rd independent supervisory board member in the second half of 2017. And in addition, on the 17th of September 2017, there is the end of the current 4-year term of office of the LEG board. Therefore, moving further, I'd like to look back at the 4-year period of LEG activities and highlight a few key changes that happened in LEG. I divided the changes in 4 areas: corporate, strategic, organizational, and capacity-related changes. And I would like now to touch briefly upon all of them. So first, regarding the corporate events, we have the new corporate governance practices in place since 2014, and there have been changes in subsidiary ownership that occurred in 2015. Concerning the strategic changes, we operate in line with the 2020 strategy, which was developed in 2014 and then updated in last year in September 2016 in order to reflect the recent market needs and developments. Then in 2015, the new heat production capacity was finished in Elektrėnai complex in order to produce competitive heat from biomass independently from the electricity generation. And as of November 2016, we started to provide new services to the new clients. Now, concerning the organizational changes, we have been continuously optimizing the processes, and quite a few support and administrative functions were centralized in the group during these 4 years. Also in 2016, the value chain of the whole Lithuanian energy group was optimized, and we sold our wholesale trading activity within the group for us to focus particularly on the generation activities. We also try continuously adjust our internal organizational structure, and the last change that we made was related to the centralization of a few functions across our 3 power plants in order to be more flexible and more efficient. And finally, concerning the capacity changes, in Elektrėnai complex, we have been doing decommissioning projects since 2013. And now units 1 to 4 are decommissioned, while units 5 to 6 are in the decommissioning phase since January 2017. Moreover, since 2016, there has been a big change in the operational mode of Elektrėnai complex. So we do not have any production quota set for Elektrėnai complex since 2016, and we operate solely on the market terms and serve as an important strategic and tertiary reserve provider for the system. So to sum up all these changes and the effect of all these changes, despite the decreasing income, we were able and managed to control the costs and to improve our profitability. In 4 years, we paid out a very significant amount of dividends, 128 million euro in dividends to our shareholders, and we continuously strive to maintain high power plant reliability and effectively manage our development and all our optimization projects. And finally, let me take a look into the future and point out that we will continue to focus on the needs and of our clients and of our strategic partners, that is transmission system operator, the regulator, Nord Pool, heat customers, and the new clients. And we want to continue and have strategic focus on the following topics. First, the high reliability of our power plants and our service quality. Second, the operational efficiency with a target of reducing our operational expenses by 15% by 2020 and allocating the resources to new activities. Third category is the projects, both the development projects and the optimization or decommissioning projects are a very significant part of our strategy. And fourth, the process optimization and the lean practices implementation is also on our agenda to be in line with the market needs. So I assure you that we think about our strategy on the daily basis in order to ensure the sustainable returns to all our stakeholders and shareholders. So with this note, I finish my presentation today. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And now I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
So, Mr. Čiužaitė, thank you for the presentation. Now, let's proceed with the questions in order that they were received. Before that, I would like to remind you that you can send in questions in the section on the right side of the screen. There are some questions we received in advance. So let's start with the first one. So, Ms. Čiužaitė, are there any indications on when the auction for tertiary reserve services could be organized? What are the chances for LEG to continue providing this service?
Thank you for the question. This is, of course, a very important topic for us, the tertiary reserve auction. Unfortunately, like I mentioned in my presentation, this is the competence of the transmission system operator and energy policy setters to actually decide upon the specific rules, how the auction should be organized. And we really hope that the information regarding the rules for next year will be available as soon as possible, as we want to prepare at the maximum for providing this service further next year. We proved this year that, and many years before, that we can reliably provide the service. At the beginning of 2016, we performed a trial to see that we can actually start our units that are dedicated for tertiary reserve service very efficiently within the required term. Therefore, we want to prepare as well as best as possible in order to provide the service as efficiently as possible at the minimum cost and as reliably as possible. But yeah, this is actually, first we're waiting for the specific rules which are set by a transmission system operator for the, in order to participate in the auction.
Let's proceed with the questions. The second question is about third thermal power plant in Vilnius. So are there any plans for Lietuvos Energijos Gamyba to take over the plant, and under what conditions it could be done?
Thank you for the question. This is actually a very interesting one in regards to the activities. Yeah, we are involved in the power generation activities, and Vilnius thermal power plant is involved in the same activities. And actually, first of all, I want to say that as disclosed to all the investors and as disclosed publicly, we were dedicated to for one specific task in the process of the acquisition of Vilnius thermal third thermal power plant, which is the technical due diligence or technical evaluation of the power plant. We will provide the results of our analysis to our shareholder, Lietuvos Energija, and further on we will see how we can collaborate in the acquisition process. However, all the rules and all the decisions and all the timeline is decided by Lietuvos Energija, and we will be really looking forward to basically getting any additional tasks if there are any, and if we have additional responsibilities regarding the Vilnius thermal power plant operations in the future, we will definitely inform officially and publicly everybody about that. Currently, we are focused on one specific task in the acquisition process, the technical due diligence that I mentioned.
Thank you for your answer. The third question is connected to the Nordbalt link. It was publicly announced about the plans of Nordbalt outage for quite a long time next year due to the repair works. Will it have any impact on Lietuvos Energijos Gamyba, and do you prepare in any way?
Thank you for your question. This is actually an interesting area for us to focus for next year while planning our activities and our operation modes. As you probably all heard last week in the presentation of Litgrid CEO in Nasdaq conference, there are still no dates or terms set for this interlink repair works. However, we, as you all, are probably waiting for specific terms and duration of the repair works, and as usual, the outage of such big interlink or such big capacity in the system actually provides interesting opportunities for other market participants, including us. Therefore, we are following the news of Litgrid and wait for the specific information, while at the same time we plan and make any small repair works and all the planned maintenance work in order to prepare for next year to be available in capacity terms as much as possible, and we want to pursue any opportunity that is available in the market if there are any changes and if actually this Nordbalt outage is in place. So we do not prepare in any specific way, but of course we want to be ready for any possibilities that occur in the market if this outage is taking place and if it influences the prices in the market.
And the fourth question, what will be the sources for financing the project of wind farm near Kruonis power plant, and also the development of Kruonis power plant with the fifth hydro unit?
Thank you for the question. However, I believe that this is a little bit too early yet to talk about the specific financial structure of the projects that are at the very early preparation stage. Therefore, as soon as we have moved further in these projects and when we are closer to the investment decision already in these projects, then we will think and we will inform about the specific financing structure. Nevertheless, we are for sure thinking of different financing opportunities to pursue, and as well as looking into any support funds available for these projects.
One more question is left, but before that I would like you to remind about the possibility to send in questions in the section on the right side of the screen. And the last question we have now is about the dividends. Are there any plans to pay dividends for the first half of 2017?
Thank you. That's a very good question in terms and very important topic for the investors, I believe. However, unfortunately, there are still no decisions regarding the specific dividend amounts for the first half of 2017. And as soon as our shareholders decide upon the amounts, we will publish the information to all of you. Nevertheless, we have a published dividend policy, and I don't see any obstacles that this dividend policy is somehow not followed this year. We have the dividend policy basically to have better information for the investors how how our shareholders might decide on the dividends. Therefore, as soon as the decisions are made, they will be publicly available to all of you. Thank you.
We have some more time for your questions, so please be advised to send in them in the section on the right side of the screen. We'll wait a minute or two for your questions. So I think all questions are answered. Ms. Čiužaitė, thank you for the presentation and for the answers given. If you have some ending remarks, the floor is yours.
So once again, thank you very much for your interest in our company. I really appreciate that there are investors that want to hear how we are doing. Please feel free to forward us any questions or any feedback, any suggestions that you have, even after this presentation. Your feedback would be very, very important to us, and hope to see you, hope to talk to you again after the third quarter, when I present the third quarter results of 2017. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Eglė. Thank you, participants, for joining. A record of this webinar will be available in the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel, webinar playlist, also at the webpage of Lietuvos Energijos Gamyba. So have a good afternoon and see you soon.